The Pajama Olympics.
And with that said, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the two-man front. We are back, and we have a pretty packed show for you guys today. We're going to be obviously talking about the combine, the Pajama Olympics that Ball just talked about. We're going to be talking about what Caleb Williams and what Ryan Clark said about him. And then, of course, the meat and potatoes of the show, our top 5 wide receivers. And then our Mount Rushmore of college football wide receivers. Like, I don't know. Paul, have you seen my list?
No.
Okay, so if you haven't seen my list, our lists are more than hella different, right? You know,
Oh, word. Oh, this is good. I like this.
It's gonna be fun. But of course, I didn't introduce ourselves. Now, my name is Be Easy, Easy Sports, and then of course we got the other half of two-man front, objectively biased sports. I want to thank you guys for receiving us or welcoming us on this Wednesday night as we talk football with you guys, as we love to do every Wednesday. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. Let's talk about what Ryan Clark said about Caleb Williams, because that really caused a stir, I should say, right? Over the last few hours, I posted that on my page. So Ryan Clark pretty much said, if Caleb Williams isn't starting one day and isn't a highly successful quarterback, it's the coach's fault and the organization's fault. Okay, so there's a video to this. If you watch Get Up today, it was pretty much saying that Caleb Williams is so good that there really shouldn't be any reason he shouldn't be successful. Now, I don't know what Ryan Clark's idea of success is, but he's saying he should be some type of successful, which I agree. But Paul, I'm gonna let you go ahead, and I'm right behind you. Do you agree with what Ryan Clark said here?
I agree to a certain extent. I said it on your post too, and I'll elaborate now. I agree to a certain extent because you can't just say it's on the organization and it's on the coaches why a player fails. There's multiple reasons why a player can fail, and again, he is he is the most talented quarterback in this draft. But it's not going to be just the coaches or the organization that fails him. He will, if you're that good, then, like you just said, what does that success look like? What is success if he's performing as a top 15 quarterback and they're not winning and he doesn't look productive at times? Hey, that could be the coaching staff. I agree 100%. But you can't say if he's not successful, if he struggles, that it's all on the coaching staff and it's all on the organization. We don't put that kind of blame on the organizations or coaches with any other players. Why are we now going to start to just do that here with Caleb Williams? I don't completely disagree with it because there is truth to it. But I'm not going to sit here and say, well, if he fails, it's on everybody else. Where's the personal accountability if he fails?
I do apologize, guys. There's an echo. I'm working on it. I'm trying to fix it. Thank you for letting me know. I'm trying to fix the echo. It sounds like it's better now, but there is a wild echo. So I'm trying to fix that. But
who's that Facebook user? Is that Mike?
There's a lot of Facebook users. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, I think echo's gone. No, it's not. Well, we're gonna get to it. God, we're gonna get there. I don't know why there's an echo, but here's what I'll say about that. Man, this is tough. I know what Ryan Clark is trying to say. I understand what he's saying, and here's what I'll say. Caleb Williams is gonna be really good. He should be really good. He should be at worst, an NFL starting caliber quarterback who could win you games, right? But as any situation, he's going to a bad team. And usually bad teams don't put great talent around their quarterback. And I think what Ryan Clark is trying to say is, I honestly think he's trying to say, the Bears have to do everything in their power to help this kid succeed as a quarterback. Because if they don't, it's going to be more on them than anybody else. Because he's super talented. Because if you put him on any other team, like if you put him with the Steelers, a winning team, he succeeds. If you put him with the Eagles, probably a success because they're.
Not with that coach.
I'm just saying, overall, historically, Bob, historically, the Eagles are a pretty good football team. They know how to build around their quarterbacks, right? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. The Chiefs, historically, pretty good, right? Steelers, Patriots. I'm not really sure I was going to say Patriots, but we don't know Mac Jones. He didn't really work out, but we'll see how they come back from Mac Jones, right? I think the Patriots deserve a little bit of a mulligan. They were good for 20 years, right? There's a reason why the same teams always win. The reason why the same teams always win Super Bowls, right? Because they are teams that know how to build around their quarterbacks. The teams that are putting together. The Chicago Bears aren't one of those teams. So I think what Ryan Cook was really trying to say here was that I will admit, his 100% of the blame is not there, because obviously a little bit has to fall on the actual player who's out there throwing the football and stuff. But I will say the Chicago Bears are getting this word's a little overused. They're getting somewhat of a generational talent, but But I'm saying is, they're getting a really good quarterback. I think the best quarterback in this draft, not by far, but the best quarterback. They have a chance to really, really have them have 10, 15 years and be relevant, at least be in the conversation for Super Bowl, right? It is upon the organization. Look, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson falls in the lap of the Baltimore Ravens. Is having a potentially Hall of Fame type career. 2-time MVP. But the playoff struggles, but dude can play. He goes to the Jaguars or Browns. We don't hear from Lamar Jackson ever again. We already know that, right? The Chicago Bears have a chance to really, really, really make something a lot out of Caleb Williams. He's really, really good, right? So I do agree with what Ryan Cook's saying here. I think Caleb Williams is going to be good, but it is upon the organization to make sure they put some weapons around this kid, right? A good coaching staff around this kid. Something they did not do with Justin Fields. At least the last coaching staff and administration didn't do that for him. So I get what Ryan Clark is saying. Because Caleb Williams is too damn good to just not have a successful NFL career. Is what I'm saying. He's just too good not to have a good career. So I understand what I'm saying. Man, that echo is killing me. I know it's killing y'all too. I'm going to try to get rid of it in this next segment. Let's go ahead. Move on to our next segment. Combine. Kidding. Not combine with the Wizards, but we will talk about combine with the Wizards. Combine was obviously the Olympics, you call it. Was on. Give me your winners and losers of this year's combine.
Oh man. So I'm going to go with the loser first. I'm going to take my loser first here. And my loser for me is the guy that I had as the second best running back coming out of this draft class, Bucky Irving. Jonathan Brooks didn't perform, obviously, because of the ACL. Blake Corum did what Blake Corum was going to do. Trey Benson showed out. You had an opportunity here to come in and guarantee yourself a spot in the second round of being drafted. Dylan Johnson shit the bed. I forget off the top of my head the other running back that they crapped out too. But then Bucky Irving blew it. He had an opportunity and he completely blew it.
Yeah.
And it's that for me, he's the biggest loser here because, as I said, all these running backs coming out, your top 4 or 5, they're like second to third round picks. You had an opportunity to solidify yourself as a second round pick. Now you're probably falling back because of other performances, and I'll get to that with my winners. Because of other performances by running backs, you might actually be a back end of the third, potential 4th round pick.
Yeah. Bucky didn't do himself a lot. I didn't think he was going to run very fast anyway. I didn't think he was going to run that fast. Um, so did you do your loser or winner first?
My loser. Yeah, he didn't run that fast, but he also didn't do the cone drills. He did not look good at all. Like,
yeah, I didn't even think about. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even think of Bucky Irving when I saw, because I watched the running back pretty intently. Like I love running backs, right? So I watched it pretty intently. When I did, it was probably one of the only things I actually watched live, right? We also kind of just consume through social media or whatever. So Bucky Irving was the one that I can say with that. Man, I might have even beat me. I was really well, he was number two, you know. But it doesn't mean he's not gonna be a good back. He didn't do it himself, right?
yeah.
My original loser before you said Bucky Irving, man, I forgot all about Bucky. My original loser was probably going to be I did posting this guy. He's not good. With Spencer Rattler. Rattler he didn't look great. He didn't test well. These drills, man. Like I don't put a lot of stock into them. I do understand that it could. It's a perception topic, right? You know, it's one of those things where, like, especially with a guy like Spencer Rattler, who had a pretty inconsistent college career, was pretty inconsistent too, right? So he needed this. He needed to go out and look. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May didn't perform, so it was just him. It was JJ McCarthy. It was Bo Nix. It was Penix Jr. It was guys that, you know, he could have snuck himself in that, like, you know, not top 5, but like top maybe first, second round, possibly, if he killed it at the combine. He didn't. And I was kind of disappointed. I really think Spencer Rattler can play. I really think this kid can play. Oh my God, the echo's gone. I just realized that the echo was gone. Sorry. I really think the kid can play. Right? He was my biggest loser. Paul, who's your biggest winner? Who won the combine?
I had two guys. Mm-hmm. I had two winners. Now, as I alluded to with the running backs, Jalen Wright from Tennessee. I had him on my radar. He was at that 6'7" of my power rankings with running backs coming out in this draft, and he showed out. He showed his elite athleticism. He showed his speed, his quickness, just his physical prowess. When you saw him, he showed out, and he's the guy that, in my opinion, you've got Trey Benson, you've got Jonathan Brooks, and now Jalen Wright, I think, could go ahead of Blake Corum. Because now there's video to attach to what you saw at the combine and what he can actually do and how explosive of a runner this guy really is. He was a winner, and then we're going to get into our top 5 NFL prospects at receivers, and it's funny because I looked it up after it was all over the internet that the 4.2140 that Xavier Worthy ran. But then I watched the drills. I watched him, especially with the catching drills. That you know, he making the catches. He ran the cone drills. He showed the explosiveness. He showed the ability to run the route tree in the route running drills that they did. He gave you everything, and he wiped away the thought process that this guy can't catch, because in 2022, his 2022 campaign, the only thing that he didn't drop was his own vital signs during that entire season. He struggled mightily. He came back last season, looked really good, and he came back in the combine, and he wowed everybody. And I think he raised his stock tremendously with the way he performed.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. You know, so my biggest winner actually is a guy that actually just performed, right? Because guys didn't. And I'm going back to the quarterbacks. No, let's be real. Xavier Worthy won it. He won a 4.21. He's gonna be come on, he's a real winner here. If anything's gonna make you a lot of money in this stupid combine, it's the 40. You're in a 4.21. He probably went from like a mid-second to probably is going to sneak in the first now because we're in a 4.21. Even though I don't think he's first-round worthy receiver, in my opinion.
I don't think he is either.
So, but the guy who won the combine is honestly turning into one of my favorite quarterbacks, man. It's JJ McCarthy. It's JJ, man. He's really, and look, I'm going to this some point this week. I'm going to explain to everybody why JJ McCarthy should be among Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. I'm going to explain to you why he's better than Drake May and why Drake May I feel like is. If you like
Bust.
Drake May, I didn't say that.
Bust. I'm going to say it right now.
I'm not going to say that because, I don't want to be too absolute with him. Because, again, situation, right? Situation. Where does he land? That matters, right? Where does JJ land? That's going to matter a lot, right? But JJ McCarthy, I feel like won the combine. One was a winner. Not won the combine. Was a winner because I feel as if he did everything he needed to do. There were some things where he could have cleaned up a little bit. Didn't look great outside the numbers when he threw the ball. Deep ball looked good. Had some zip in between the numbers. Deep ball was good, but it wasn't. I wasn't Joe Milton, right? You know what I mean? But I just everything I read, at least I wasn't in the rooms when he had the interviews. People liked the guy. And he's a winner. 27-1 at Michigan, won a national championship. Knows how to manage a football game. Game manager was a big point of topic for a lot of people this past year with Brock Purdy and other guys. You want a guy like Brock Purdy? You want a guy who's gonna just kind of manage the football game? JJ McCarthy can do that for you. So I'm really interested in seeing where he lands. But to me, only because guys like Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and there's someone else who didn't perform. Who else? Who was the other guy? Who's the other quarterback that didn't perform? There's three guys.
Drake May didn't perform.
May, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
May. Yeah. Only because those guys were out there. It gave him a chance to be in the spotlight.
Yes.
And I was happy for him. So I love JJ McCarthy. I think he's gonna be really good, and I think he should be. I'm gonna have a little something on him. I'm gonna compare him to another guy in this draft who I think he's gonna be much better than. But yeah, combine's up. Combine has come and gone, and it was fun to watch. I feel like he's just less and less significant every single year. I just don't get anything from it. You were out and about with your son and your girls.
Yeah.
I know you watched a minute of it. Only one I watched was the live of the running backs. I think that was like day one or on Saturday. I just love watching the running backs. I think their drills translate a little better than anything else in the combine. So I like watching the running backs. But other than that, yeah, we didn't watch that. I don't care about the Jump Olympics. I don't care. Let's go ahead and move on to our top 5 wide receivers of this draft. It's a pretty deep class, Frog.
Yes.
Upon like you could have said that every single receiver at the combine was a winner, right? Because this is a class where if you need a lineman or a wide receiver, this is your class.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go right into it. I want to ask this question to you too. If you can just off the top of your noggin, I'll ask at the end: could this be the best wide receiver class we've ever seen? I'm gonna ask you that at the end because it could be. But let's go and get to our list real quick. Let's go and show our viewers our list. Oh, there we go. Our top 5 wide receivers of the 2024 NFL draft, as you can see right there. Paul, go ahead and explain your list, and I'll go right after you.
The disrespect. You got Xavier Worthy tucked off on the side of the screen, man.
Oh, well, he's not. He shouldn't be there. That's why. He shouldn't be there.
Look, my top 5 is pretty much off of what I saw game film wise. And out of all of these guys, look, we have the number 1 wide receiver, the best player in the draft is Marvin Harrison Jr., and it's not even close. I think hands down the only weakness that I see in him is what team he's going to wind up playing for and what quarterback's going to be throwing him the ball. That's probably the only weakness he's got. He's easily the best receiver in this draft. I've got Rome Odunze. Look, he's a raw talent, but he is explosive. He pops, and he's a hard worker. The guy will bust his ass to get to where he needs to get. If you listen to his story or read about his story, it is unreal what he's gone through, and where he is right now is extremely impressive. that work ethic alone, combined with his raw talent, is easy enough for me to put him at the number 2 position. He's going to be, to start, it won't be an X, but he's definitely going to be a guy you can move in the slot and play at the Z receiver position. Malik Neighbors, look, outside of his lack of not really being able to run the route tree consistently, hit deep threat wise, and his footwork and how he can leave defenders off balance. Yeah, he switches gears incredibly well. And this is a guy that, he's going to fit on any team. The league is changing. That number 1 wide receiver, that Randy Moss, that Jerry Rice, that Larry Fitzgerald, we're seeing a lot of slot receivers come up, and guys that are being able to make impacts on teams, such as what's his name, Josh Reed, last season. He had a phenomenal. The guy's not an outside guy; he's the inside guy. Malik Neighbors can be that guy. Keon, it's funny, man. We got 1 through 4 right on.
All the money, yeah.
Keon Coleman to me is a guy that, in all honesty, B, I think he could be the second best receiver in this draft.
I think he could be the best.
He's got the talent. He's got the size.
Yeah.
He's everything he is your prototypical wide receiver. He's got the build, the athleticism, the speed, the route running ability. He's really the full package. He's got it there.
Yeah. Route running is a little spotty, but he's a red zone dude. He is a red zone.
Oh, he's a guaranteed 50-50 guy. He's coming down with the ball like Des Bryant used to.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yeah.
And then my last guy, again, Xavier Worthy, and I had him there before I looked at the combine. I was like, oh, damn, really? My thing with Xavier Worthy is this. I had him as one of the top 10 receivers. I'm a homer. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go with him, because if I didn't, I was probably going to go with that McConkey. Whatever is McConkey. I was probably going to go with him because I think people are sleeping on this guy. But Xavier Worthy improved from, like I said, his 2022 campaign to last season. He was the best receiver on that team. Look, I take nothing away from what the hell is his name? Adion or whatever I forget the other receiver's name that Texas had. He's built like he should be the receiver and should have been the number 1 receiver on that team, and he wasn't. And there's a reason why. Xavier Worthy reminds me, he's a 3-tier guy. You know how you got a floor, ceiling? Well, there's a floor, ceiling, and a basement. His basement could be John Ross because of his size. He gets hurt, that's it. His floor, to me, Dante Hall. He's a return guy. Xavier Worthy.
What's his? You said his ceiling is who?
No, I haven't got to his ceiling yet. I said his floors. I said his basement is John Ross if he gets hurt. His floor would be Dante Hall. He's just a return guy. He's similar in size and whatever. His ceiling, Deshaun Jackson. He could be a receiver like that. He's just going to have to put some size on. But I again, maybe he shouldn't be up there in the top 5. I might be homering with this one, but he's easily one of the top 10 receivers in this draft. And what he did in the combine and what you're going to see on video when you watch him play for 2023 did himself some justice. I think this guy, if he can stay healthy and put healthy weight on, he can be a good receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. The thing with Xavier Worthy is, and everybody keeps saying the same thing. Oh, if he could put on weight, he'll be great. He'll be good. If he puts on weight, he's not going to be a 4-2-1 guy anymore. That's one. He's not going to be a 4-2-1 guy on the field. I always caution people about this 40 stuff because, like, you don't realize these guys train and practice, lose weight for this 40. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you he's gained 5 pounds since the combine. He can eat now, right? Right? Because he's not going to be as light as a feather.
And then with pads on, look, he's probably with pads on. You're looking at a guy that's probably he could probably get up to 175, 180, and he's probably a 4-4 guy. But that's good in the NFL.
If he gets up to 175, it can be around like that 4-3 range. That's good. That's good in the NFL. What is he, like 6 foot? He's not short.
No, he's 5. No, he's 5. Oh, I think he's 5'10". 5'10".
He's a smaller guy. Okay, I thought for whatever reason, he looks longer than he looks longer than on T. I guess. Right. So, yeah, I caution guys like him. I watched his tape, and I watched some games this year. He didn't really pop out to me. I mean, he's fast, but he didn't really pop out to me, right? But he ran a good 40. Who, again, it matters. If the Chiefs get this guy, good Lord, like that would be crazy, right?
Him coming out of the slot, whoa.
Yeah, no. I agree. I agree. I agree. I want to see if he's more of a football player than a speedster, not the other way around. Right? You know, that's what I'm looking for, right? You know, he's not Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a football player. He's a football player, right? Like, and he just happens to look like he's running a 4-2 on the football field, right? And he's shifty, he's quick, he's fat. Like Tyreek Hill is a different animal. So let's stop comparing him to him. I do like the Deshaun Jackson comparison a little bit. I think Deshaun Jackson was a better receiver and a route runner, and a better football player. I think Deshaun wasn't big at all, ever. Never big, right? Deshaun probably wasn't more than what? He probably wasn't more than 165, 70 pounds his whole career. I don't know, right?
Yeah, I think it was like 175 his whole career.
Yeah, he was a little dude, little smaller dude, right? You know, and he blew by guys. Yeah, our top four are pretty much similar. I don't have a lot of I don't really have much else to give. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best football player in this draft. I think he's the best football player in this draft. And I think Rome Odunze reminds me so much. He just has he remember so much of Jamar Chase when he came out of LSU. Big dude, can run routes, right? Well, he's just really physical, right? Really physical guy. Will go up and get it, but still run pretty precise, crisp routes. Injury concern a little bit, but I think he'll be okay. Neighbors to me is the wild card. I think he can I think he's someone that can either be a boom or bust guy.
Yes.
Right? I really do. I think he's either going to come out and just set the world on fire in the NFL, or he's just not going to be heard from. He's just going to be another dude, right? I'm not as high on him. I almost want to switch him and Coleman now because I love Coleman. I watched him the other day. He just has, like you said, he has potential to be the second best receiver. I think he has potential to be the best receiver in this draft looking back 4 or 5 years from now. Right? I really do. I think Marvin Harrison is going to be really, really good. But I think whoever gets their hands on a guy like Keon Coleman, who I think will look great in a Ravens uniform, but we'll see. That's somebody Lamar Jackson. He needs a guy like that. They always Zay Flowers is great. He needs a 50-50 guy. He needs a guy that's going to bail him out sometimes, right? Kind of like the way A.J. Brown gets bails out Jalen Hurts a lot.
Yes.
Right? That's what he needs, right? Would love to see him in a Ravens uniform. Let's see the Ravens do it if he's still even there. And then Tez Walker, man, he is another boom or bust. I think he's a guy that he just looks good on film. Every route looks pretty crisp. He has the hands. Drake may immediately look better when Tez Walker was allowed to play, right? And there's not a lot of film on him though. He comes from Toledo, so he was out like the first 6-7 games this year. Something like that.
6 games I think it was.
So there's not a lot of tape on him, but I think if he almost reminds me a little bit of like a situation where of Josh Gordon, when Josh Gordon was in and out of Baylor and the NFL, and he takes over, but then obviously with the drug situation, he couldn't really handle it. That's what Tez Walker reminds me of. Maybe not the same build, but the same maybe career path or football path, right? If he goes to the right football team with the right quarterback, right? Maybe a CJ Stroud, right? Maybe a Bryce Young. I don't know. He goes to a team with a quarterback that needs some help. He's like an ultimate number 2 receiver that can turn into a number 1. That's how I look at Tez Walker. So, but yeah, I mean this wide receiver draft is deep, man. It is super deep. So you think it begs me to ask you the question, just real quick. Do you think this could be the deepest wide receiver class ever? Just looking back at some draft classes.
Damn. Off the top of my head, I can't remember a just extremely deep wide receiver draft, but with the talent, the potential, we didn't even talk about Brian Thomas Jr., the other LSU wide receiver, who I think
Yeah.
whoever gets their hands on him and actually is able to work with him, he could be right there with Coleman and Harrison Jr., in my opinion.
It's almost like what's funny. It's almost the same situation the LSU Tigers had a couple of years ago with Jamar and Jefferson, right?
Yes.
They were so good together. Everybody was saying like, oh, well, he had Chase, oh, he had Jefferson. See how they're both great now. Like but it's hard to tell with those two because they had to.
Well, again, and the other thing too is you got that guy Ricky Pearsall from Florida.
Yeah,
he looks really good. Lad McConkey looks really good. The kid from South Carolina, I'm spacing on his name. Leggett, I think it is.
Yeah, Leggett. Yeah.
Yo, this really does. This has the real potential, if we look back on it 5 years from now, of being one of the deepest wide receiver classes in NFL history. Because this draft, just talent wise alone, I think could generate probably 7 or 8 solid starters that you'll be talking about in 4 or 5 years.
Well, consider this. All right, I'm looking at some numbers right now. I'm looking at some draft classes right now. 2014, right, had Devontae Adams, Odell Beckham, Mike Evans, Allen Robinson, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, to name a few, and Sammy Watkins. Nice. Sammy Watkins was number 4, but he was a bust, right? And then you got, I'm just looking at some draft classes, some random draft classes right now, right? So in 2001, you had Ochocinco, Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne. You had Steve Smith. I know in 2019, let me see, go to 2019 real quick. I know 2019 was a really good draft class. Really, really good. Can't find it right now.
2001 was tough.
2001, 2020 was even good with CD Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So I mean, this draft class, we won't know. Obviously, we will not know. We will not know until like 3-4 years from now, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. But like this draft class is pretty.
I like the potential.
I do too. But these 5 or 10 guys on our screen, well, I guess 6 really, because 7 guys, because we don't have these guys right here. All have potential to be at least solid, at the very worst, like solid starters.
Yeah.
Right? I think a couple of them have a chance to be all pros, perennial Pro Bowlers, solid starters. It's going to be 3 or 4 years from now. It's going to be a pretty solid draft. I do want to get to Kevin's comment though. He said that wide receivers are going to be treated like running backs soon, which I'm very interested in hearing why he believes that if he's still around. But that was a very interesting comment that I saw. I'm just kind of curious if we can get back to this. Kevin, if you're still watching, he's kind of curious to see what you mean by that.
I wonder if he's talking about the value because of how the way the game is being played now. You don't need I don't think you've ever really needed an elite receiver to win a championship.
Not an elite receiver, but you need somebody that you can rely on. Like,
yeah,
I know the Chiefs didn't have an elite receiver, right? But Rashard Rice is a pretty solid receiver who could turn into an elite one. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
So I think I don't know what he means by this, but I think wide receivers are going to that check is going to continue to go up as long as it's the passing league. You need those boys to play.
There's still a premium on the receiver position, so
there's still a premium. So but there's that. So look, let's get to the topic I've been waiting for. Let's get to our Mount Rushmore of college football receivers. All right, Fog. Who you got? I'm in Mount Rushmore of college football receivers. While I pull the list up.
Oh man. So I went through wow. Oh.
Hey, just so you know, mine, if you're watching, mine's on the left, depending on how you're looking. I have the white, and dog has the
Yo, that is crazy. I'm going to explain why it's crazy in a minute because I really struggled with this. Randy Moss, I think if he's not on your Mount Rushmore of receivers, college football receivers, you're out of your mind. What that man was able to accomplish.
conversation. You have no validity to your conversation.
Yeah. I put Tim Brown on there. Tim Brown was one of the he really made the receiver position something to be looked at, and I think he wasn't the first, but he was the first really relevant wide receiver to win a Heisman Trophy. I put Desmond Howard on there because Desmond Howard carried those Michigan teams. Now, unfortunately, he struggled in one of the Rose Bowls against Washington. He got shut down, but Desmond Howard was a threat. That was again, it wasn't just out of the receiver position. It was out of being a punt returner and a kick returner, but he still was a wide receiver and he was a dominant one. And then Corey Davis, I put Corey Davis up there.
That was interesting to me. That was the.
I put Corey Davis up there because I had Braylon Edwards, I had Larry Fitzgerald, I had Devonta Smith, and I had Michael Crabtree. I kind of scratched Crabtree off.
Just missed my list.
Because it was just that one season, but that one season I think is still a record-setting season that he had.
Yeah, I believe. No, Devontae beat that. I think so.
But I'm not mad. Look, Fitzgerald, Edwards, Devonta Smith, those were all guys that I was struggling. The reason I took Corey Davis, I said, let me give a win to the little guy. Western Michigan, what he did, I think he had 3 straight seasons where he put up NFL numbers, like over 1,200 yards receiving each season. 12, 15, and 19 touchdown receptions. And his quarterback was somebody named Tom Fleek or something like that. And you know what his NFL career was? He was signed, I think, by the Pittsburgh Steelers on May 7th of 2017 and released on May 9th of 2017. That was his career in the NFL. So this is what Corey Davis was working with. I went kind of with the same thing that I did with the quarterbacks, 2 years or more. Let me see the consistency. And Davis put up, like I said, it was video game numbers. And when I was watching Davis, it brought me to watching Malik Neighbors because Davis was able to stop on a dime, shift, and just on those 7, 8, and 9 routes on the route tree, able to turn defenders. And again, he was doing it against guys whose futures were as accountants or Walgreens managers. But it was unreal to watch his film. The only reason I looked at him is because he was on multiple top 10 college wide receiver lists.
Yeah.
And I said, really? I got to go back and watch this shit. And that's the only reason I watched it. I'm like, you know what? Let me put that man up there and give him his flowers. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be on that Mount Rushmore, but damn it, it's my Mount Rushmore. It's my opinion, and I'm giving it.
It's hard, man.
Yo, when I saw Braylon Edwards, I'm like, damn, you beat me too, because he was right there.
It was so hard to keep off Michael Crabtree because he's a 2-time Biletnikoff winner. That's obviously it's because wide receiver. There's so many great wide receivers. I feel like if you win the Biletnikoff Award, like you did something. There's just so many really good receivers out there in college football. Obviously, we'll have Randy Moss, Braylon Edwards, hell of a career at Michigan. Three 1,000-yard seasons with double-digit touchdowns. I mean, he was just everything to Michigan his last 2 years, man. With Lloyd Carr, and I think Chad Henne was doing the football. So he was fantastic at Michigan. Larry Fitzgerald should have won the Heisman in 2004. I will take that to my grave. It shouldn't have been Jason White. I don't care what anybody's. It was ridiculous. Larry Fitzgerald was the best player in college football that year. I'm still very upset about that. Like, because Larry Fitzgerald should have won it with his numbers. I think he had 1,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. I mean, he was phenomenal. Let me look real quick. with Larry finished second in the Heisman. Oh, so he's only there for 2 years actually. He's only there for 2 years.
2003 to 2005, I think it was.
2002 and 2003.
Yeah.
And 12 touchdowns. I guess it was his sophomore redshirt year, and then freshman redshirt year, and then his sophomore year, 22 touchdowns. So it makes sense because at that time they weren't really giving the Heisman Trophy to guys under like junior or seniors, and he was a sophomore redshirt. So he would have won it today. Like he would have won it like if he was playing today, because now they're giving the Heisman to everybody. They're giving it to everybody now. So Devontae should have won it that year. I'm sorry, Larry Fitzgerald should have won that year. Devonta Smith barely made it. And probably the only reason why he made it was because he won the Heisman. And he's only the second wide receiver to win it. I think Desmond Howard won it first. Either Desmond was first, or it's one of those things where Devontae was the first to win it since Desmond. I forget what it was.
Oh no, he was because Tim Brown won it in '88.
Yeah, you're right. Tim Brown won in '88. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was Devonta Smith was the first wide receiver to win the Heisman since Desmond Howard.
Yeah, okay, that's why Tim Brown didn't win it. You're right. Tim Brown didn't win it. Devontae had a hell of a year that year. He just seemed unstoppable, and I know it's just a 1 year thing, but yeah, he was good his junior year and sophomore years as well. Like he was fantastic. So, but Devontae had just a dominating year that year, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm having a little bit of buyer's remorse because I think Michael Crabtree should be on this list somewhere. I do. I think Crabtree should be on the list somewhere. There are so many dudes.
Justin Blackmon had 2 phenomenal seasons at Oklahoma State.
He was another one. It's so hard to do this without thinking of their NFL careers. It's hard, right? I know I try my best not to. Because Braylon Edwards, he didn't have a great NFL career. I mean, he was okay.
No, but he was a phenomenal college football player.
There's so many dudes, so many guys we left off. Calvin Johnson, we left off Julio Jones, we left off Charles Rogers, we left off so many. We left off AJ Green, we left off It was a lot. This was hard. This
Jerry Rice. I didn't realize Jerry Rice had the college career he had. You could literally have him on the Mount Rushmore of the NFL and college football receivers.
Yeah, man, it was tough. This was hard. I saw Corey Davis's numbers, and dude, I had over 5,000 yards of
again.
That's crazy.
He had a guy who was working on a food truck after his college career throwing him the football.
Man, that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. But wide receiver was hard. Wide receiver was
this was worse than the running back one. I hated it.
Wide receiver was hard. Wide receiver. We didn't do running backs yet. We haven't done running backs yet.
No, this is going to be worse than the running back one.
Yeah. The running back one.
I think the running back's going to be much easier than this one.
I have a feeling we're going to have more matching. At least a couple more we will have one. And it's Randy Moss. Randy Moss up top. All these guys deserve it, man. Yeah, but wide receiver was pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. Wide receiver was tough, but yeah, let's do the running backs next week. Let's do the running backs. Let's get them out the way.
Killing me here.
Let's get them out the way to start watching that film now, because it's gonna be tough. Because somebody's gonna get left off, and somebody's gonna be pissed off. Somebody's gonna get left off, which is gonna be crazy to leave off anybody. Running back's gonna be hard too. Running back's gonna be hard. Let's keep running back next week though. Let's do that.
Marshall Faulk. San Diego State.
Oh man, but that's gonna do it for us, guys. We really, really appreciate you guys joining us. I know it's late on the West Coast, about 10:18. It's only 7:18 over here, but we want to appreciate you guys staying up with us, sticking with us, man. We're gonna do this again next week, same time, same place. We're gonna be talking about running backs next. We're gonna do our top 5 quarterbacks. We haven't done quarterbacks
yet. We didn't do quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks, and we'll do our Mount Rushmore of running backs. So that's going to piss a lot of people off. We already know. We're going to post this on each page. We're going to have you guys discuss it. But we want to see your top 4 or your Mount Rushmore wide receivers. Let us know who has the better list. Let us know if we're wrong or idiots or whatever, or smart, whatever you want to do. And let us know. We'll get back to you. And then we'll definitely comment on those comments you guys have for us, man. But
I'm going to get killed for Corey Davis.
I don't think so. I really don't. The raw, true college football fans will get it. The ones who don't know won't get it. That's what I'll say. But I don't think you. I don't think you will. I don't think you will. I think I might get killed for Devontae Smith more.
Bro, he was on that list. It was a struggle.
I'm starting to have buyer's remorse not having Crabtree on this list. I really am. Crabtree, I am. Crabtree was phenomenal.
Crabtree and Fitzgerald were the only 2 guys that I was going to replace Corey Davis with. I was just like, it's got to be one of those 2. If I'm not going to go Davis, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going balls in, Corey Davis.
Oh, man, that's good, man. Hey, we want to thank you guys again. Thank you for joining us. And we will be back next week, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.